Welcome, everyone. We're back with another episode of Swoon-Worthy. I'm Carly, your host, co-host, along with my sister Kayla. And today we are going back to 180 AD, the time of the Roman Empire, where the gladiators were alive and thriving. Yeah, we're going to cover Gladiator, the movie from 1999, which was just such a blockbuster hit and a hit at the Oscars as well. And we're also excited because Gladiator 2 is hitting theaters November 22nd of this year. And we're definitely going to cover that movie. We're going to go see it in theaters, come back and talk about it with you all. So we're very excited. But we figured let's go to the original film first. This movie from 2000, Gladiator, directed by Ridley Scott, took home 5 Oscars. So not only was it a blockbuster hit, I mean, everyone went to see this in theaters. Granted, my sister Kayla and I were quite young, but we did see it when it was released on, what do you think? Was that VHS, Kayla, in 2000?
More than likely, yes.
Probably rented it from Blockbuster or something. And it's very rare that I feel like a movie is such a blockbuster hit and an Oscar worthy kind of movie. But we do see that a little bit more back in the late 90s and 2000s, I would say. So took home 5 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Actor, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was 35 years old then, so it's pretty crazy to look back. He's 60 now, to put it in perspective. It also won Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, and my favorite category, Best Costume Design. Now, Joaquin, he got his first Oscar nomination for this one, Best Supporting Actor. He was 24 then, and he's 49 now.
I love him in this movie. Can I just talk about Joaquin a little bit?
Go for it.
Well, I saw some interview or something about him, and he apparently he was so nervous just being on set for this movie because it was like his first big Hollywood movie, and like there was Russell Crowe and like all these amazing actors, and he was just shaking in his boots apparently. But he did such a good job. Like he is so good at playing this part. Like you really hate this guy.
Oh my gosh. No, he kind of steals the show. No, he doesn't. I mean, Russell Crowe is amazing in this, but he is so memorable, so iconic. It's really crazy. um, it would have been cool if he did win the supporting actor, but he did eventually win an Oscar for the Joker, and he's just, yeah, phenomenal. And then we have an actress, so Danish actress Connie Nielsen, who is just beautiful, stunning in this. She was 33 at the time. She's 59 now. And she is one of the only 2 actors going on into the sequel. Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad that I wonder if they're gonna do like a whole spin on like how, because I noticed because I rewatched Gladiator again recently, and I loved how in this movie, the father was with his daughter, and he was just looking at her, and he was like, if only you were born a man, you would have, what a Caesar you would have made. And I feel like that would be a cool spin on this sequel, is if they like kind of have it to where she has some control, or I don't know, something,
Yeah.
if that's
And then,
possible.
yeah. Yeah. I haven't been reading too much about the plot because I just want to be really engrossed in it. But I do know in this movie, she has a young son played by Paul Mescal, Lucius. But I think there's some kind of confusion. Like he doesn't know who his mother is. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do this. And they have Joaquin Phoenix like characters in it, with the makeup and the look and feel of Joaquin Phoenix's character. But of course, Joaquin won't be in this new one. Um, yeah, but I'm excited to go see it. And then the only other actor who is in it, the original that's in this, is the actor Sir Derek Jacobi. He plays Gracchus, the senator. So that nice senator in the first one, he's in this one too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the plot a little bit of Gladiator, the original, because we can't really talk about the sequel yet. We haven't seen it yet. I love how it starts out with Maximus, played by Russell Crowe. He's a very well-respected general. You see him, his men just respect him. And there's this battle sequence. He does that whole at my signal, unleash hell. um, there's a German Shepherd in the first scene that's really cute. I don't know. And oh, and the music, the Hans Zimmerman music. So did you hear like Pirates of the Caribbean sounding music in this? Because
Definitely.
it's the same composer. So there you go. Kind of felt like there was some reuse there, but I guess you can do that with your own music. And and then we see the slimy Commodus. Am I saying his name right?
Commodus.
Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and his beautiful sister Lucilla. And they're in the carriage. They're kind of going to see the father and go to the battlefield area. And she's so beautiful. And right away, you're like, what is this relationship?
Yeah, you're already kind of seeing like something weird's going on, and then and it's funny because you're seeing all the warriors and the fighting, and then it's just Joaquin's just chilling in the little comfy carriage,
Oh my
laying
gosh.
laying down, just
Oh,
chatting away.
a passenger princess, maybe.
Yeah, he's oh my gosh, I love it.
Then we have Sir Richard Harris as the father of these siblings, Marcus Aurelius. Do you know this actor, Kayla? Do you recognize him?
Yeah, isn't it Dumbledore? The
Yeah,
OG
the
Dumbledore.
OG Dumbledore. Some people say he was the better Dumbledore. I like them both.
They honestly blend it together to me. Like they did a good job picking one that looked very similar to the other one.
Yeah, no, it was good. The actor passed away, so he couldn't, do it
Yeah.
anymore. But anyways, he
But he in this movie, it's like I don't even notice like he's not Dumbledore at all, which is good. Because I feel like maybe the other actor, what's his name? I feel like he's always Gandalf,
no.
Dumbledore, isn't he?
Okay, so you're talking about Michael Gambon. He actually just passed away. Did you know
Well,
that?
I feel like, yeah. And I feel like, but every movie I've seen him in, it's like, that's Dumbledore.
I see what you're
But this
saying.
one, I'm like, that's not Dumbledore. Who is that? We had to look it up and we actually had a debate and I lost some money. So there you go.
Are you talking about with your husband?
Yes.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so you're saying he's quite the chameleon,
Yeah.
this actor. And then we learned that, Maximus has been away from home for 3 years, but he almost doesn't get to go home at this point because Marcus Aurelius is saying, I really think you're the son I should have had. You command the loyalty of the army. You should be the protector of Rome when I die and end corruption. And he's like, no, I can't believe you're asking me this. Like, I don't want to say no, but you can just see this is a struggle because he's tired. 3 years of war. Like, you just want to go home and see your son and your wife.
Mhm.
It's very sad. Um, and then go ahead.
Well, yeah, and then he was describing his home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. He was like fig trees and all these things, and I was like, man, that'd be hard to be gone from for so long.
Mm-hmm. I know you like your fig trees.
They're so beautiful.
I know. I don't know I mean, I think he handled it well, but I do just kind of wish he had just said yes because we could have maybe avoided some of this. But anyways, um, then you have the scene between
Oh, I
father,
know. Can we go back to that? I know, like, but yes to what?
yes, to becoming the next
He
ruler of
should okay,
Rome.
he had two things he could have done and he didn't do either. He could have said yes immediately, or when you know what happens when what's his name? Not Lucius, Commodore? When what is this?
Commodus.
When Commodus,
Commodore.
Commod when Commodore, when Commodus was like, I'm hey, nobody knows I'm the emperor, or I'm the emperor now. Kiss my hand and we'll be good to go. Why didn't he just do that? Like, come on. I know he
Right.
didn't know his family would be burnt and killed or whatever, but he should have just done that. Like, you could have come up with another plan later.
Right. Right. He
I
was
think
acting
he underestimated just how evil and disturbed this man was.
Yes. Agree with all of that. So, how powerful though is that scene when our Joaquin Phoenix is just with his father and he's crying, he's upset, and he just, wow, takes the life
I
out of him.
know, like he's so good at that part because
Wow.
you really see the struggle, internal struggle of the character, and it's like you're on that line of pitying him or just repulsed by him, you know?
Yeah, because he is, he's saying, I have other virtues, father, ambition, resourcefulness, courage, perhaps not in the battlefield.
On the battlefield, but
No,
there's other forms of
devotion.
courage.
Yeah, devotion. And then when the father said, your failure as a son was my failure as a father,
That was like
it's,
another dagger. It's like that's
oh.
not what he wanted to hear, dude.
So everyone just made poor choices in this first few scenes of the movie, but it sets up a really good story, a really powerful story.
It's like,
Um,
I mean, everybody was
yeah.
being honest. They were being their true selves, and I guess you can't knock them for that.
Yeah, like I think Maximus is just being the moral, upright, honest man that he is. He can't think of anything scheming, so he's just doing, what he has to do. I love the scene when he's able to get free, right? Like he's being a prisoner, but he's so cool. Like oh, let me have a soldier's death, and then he's just so badass at escaping.
Mm-hmm.
And there are these beautiful shots of him going on in the horse, but of course he's really struggling. He's injured. And then we see like all the dream sequences too of the his wife like touching the field, like her hands kind of great. By the way, if anyone else watched Westworld like that, I was watching this with my husband. We were like, that really reminds me of Westworld, the dream sequences.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so cruel. And I feel like it's even harder because I feel like a lot of those people that killed his family were some of his comrades. They were people he was leading and he loved them and cared about them, and they just did what they were told and they killed his family, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, not his, well, a little separate. Like I think he has his army and they retreated. They were like going elsewhere. This
Oh,
is kind of like,
oh yeah. This is kind of it's still the Roman army, but it's not the ones he was really close to.
right, right. Because later on in the story, we find out that they're kind of camped out somewhere waiting for
Him.
direction and waiting for him and
Okay, yeah.
or yeah, yeah. But I mean, there was a traitor amongst the group. That one guy
Yeah.
did. Yeah. So you're not wrong. And it's just really terrible. And then he's still just like health wise not doing well. His son and wife are dead. Um I'm just remembering what my husband said. um because we okay, I do you watch Hercules, the animated Disney movie, like all the time? Because I still kind of do.
I mean, I've already seen it like 2,000 times, but I love it.
I know. But anyways, I always watch it and love the song. So it's like
Mhm.
zero to hero, but this one is like hero to zero.
Hero to zero and then back to hero.
Well, that's true. That is true. We're gonna,
He kind of does go zero to hero.
oh, you're right.
I
You're
like
right.
that. That
Yeah.
song. Good job.
I love Hercules. Okay, anyways. And I think he does get to bury them, but then he just faints and he's just in, oh, he gets captured again. And then there's that cool montage of him like floating over the rocks and like the hyena. Kind of reminds me of the Pure Mood soundtrack CD commercials back in the day,
Yeah.
the imagery there. And then we meet Jaimin Hansu, fabulous actor. He was also in Blood Diamond. Did you see Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Mhm.
I think he won an Oscar, perhaps, for that, or was at least nominated. But fabulous actor, and love his character in this. So he's like also enslaved at this moment, but he ends up becoming a friend, sort of a confidant for Maximus, and his name. So he's a Numidian and his name is Juba in this, Juba. So now we're going to start to refer to this character of Juba. And what does he say? Don't die. They'll feed you to the lions. They're worth more than we are. Pretty crazy. Now, flash to they're in Algeria. There's the mummy prison guard. You know the prison guard from the movie The Mummy? He's
Oh
in this.
yeah.
He's like in this for a second. I'm like, oh, that was from 1999, the year before. And they start to like test their skills as far as becoming a gladiator. They mark him as yellow or red, right? And they mark him as yellow because they're like this weakling, whatever. He looks like he's on death's door, but he's so a red. And he's paired up with Juba, and they fight. It's like, yeah, pretty cool. I just love all the fight scenes in this movie. What did our mom say about this movie?
I watched this recently with my mom, and she's always got some funny little comments, and she's like, it's all about killing people, constant battles. I don't know how else you could review that movie.
Because we were telling her like it's not all about fighting, and she just doesn't seem to want to go there. But
I think if it had more romance in it, she'd like it.
yeah, probably not like romance between the siblings, like more
Yeah,
real
not like the only romance of the siblings.
Oh gosh.
Well, it's kind of one-sided, so that's better.
Oh yeah, she's like so disgusted throughout
Yeah.
this.
She,
But she's also like, I can't
there's
take
nothing
him
I can
off or
do
he's
about
gonna,
it.
yeah, she's like, if I take him off, he's just gonna kill my son. So like I gotta play along as best as I can. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
a
So wait, is her son Marcus's son?
no.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure no. Because she had a husband, but he like died.
Because I thought maybe that was the boy that's going to be the main character in the sequel.
Well, he is gonna be the boy in the main, but he he just he got to see. So I love how the son,
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, he got to see Russell Crowe's character at least in the Colosseum, which is so cool. So I think it's so funny too, because Commodus, he's back in Rome. He's like, I'm gonna put on this great show for everyone. We don't have to think about anything, serious, and kind of sets it up. What is it? They care about the greatness of Rome. I have an idea. He has a vision. He's like, I will give the people the greatest vision of their lives. 150 days of games. It's like, okay. I'm
That's
also
the
getting
opposite of what his dad wished. His dad was like, I want to give the power back to the people. 150 days of games.
there you go.
He's just
And I
like,
feel like it's sorry, I keep talking over you.
he's just an overgrown child.
Definitely very immature. I feel like I'm getting Tatooine vibes at this point too, like a bit of pod racing or like Jabba the Hutt. Is that just me?
It's happening right now.
I don't know. Sorry. I just love Star Wars so much.
Getting a bit of
Um,
Tatooine Jabba the Hutt
it's
vibes.
giving Tatooine. No. Um, and then we get the first battle here in the Colosseum, and Maximus is called the Spaniard. Okay. That's fine. That's his nickname. And you can tell that people respect him even amongst the gladiators. So it's kind of like at the beginning of the movie when his army was respecting him, and it's kind of like the gauntlet where he's walking through again. It's very parallel to the beginning.
Yeah.
And this first scene is just so iconic, and he does the most iconic line ever. Are you not entertained?
I love it.
I know. Oh, Kayla, did you know that I've been to a Colosseum? Not the Colosseum in Rome. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me okay, Kayla, when I was studying abroad in France, in the south of France, I got to go to a Colosseum, and it was where actual gladiators were.
Oh, because the Roman Empire extended all the way to France.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yes. And they mention, I feel like they mentioned the the Gauls, Gauls. I can't say that word right, but they mentioned that in this, and the French were called like the Gauls at the time.
Like seagulls.
Gauls.
Those
The French
gills.
term Gaulois. It's easier to say in French even. Okay, anyways. But Kayla, you would walk, so we walked around the city, and there were Frenchmen dressed like gladiators. It was like, you know how like you go to Disney and there are people dressed up like Mickey Mouse? In France, in the Colosseums, there are just men dressed like gladiators walking around,
That's cool.
like attractive Frenchmen without a lot of clothes on. Should I even say this?
I mean, that's good to know.
It's just interesting. And I was a young, 21-year-old, so I was kind of like, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay.
You're fine.
And I love Joaquin's costuming in this scene. He's got like the nice eye makeup on. And Lucilla looks beautiful too. She's got this purple look and purple eye makeup, and they look so pretty. I cannot wait for the costumes. So Ridley Scott is known for his costume design, and he uses the same costume designer, Janty Yates, who won the Oscar um, for this. And then she also, designed for Kingdom of Heaven, Robin Hood, The Last Duel, Napoleon. So love the costumes. I mean, the earrings that Lucilla wears with the matching clothes, she's got like an orange look, the purple look. Her hair's always draped and curly with jewels, sometimes in the center of her forehead and like between her eyebrows. She looks beautiful. I
Yeah,
love
she does.
her. I can't wait to see what she wears in this next one.
Me too.
Yeah. And um and it's so funny in this first fight scene because they're supposed to lose, right? The gladiators are supposed to lose. And then even Commodus like my history is a little hazy. Didn't the barbarians lose the Battle of Carthage? He's like, I rather like surprises. He just thinks they're doing everything for him. And he goes down to meet the Spaniard, this, gladiator who's getting all the praise from the show. And he goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, everyone insists that you're Hector reborn." That's like a Troy reference.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I love Hector.
Mm-hmm. And then it's revealed who he is. And he's definitely going to arrest him, right? Or kill Maximus. But the crowd boos and is shouting like, live, live, live. And so Caesar,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But he does up. Well, he wanted to do
he
down,
wanted
but the
to give him a thumbs
crowd
down.
was like adamant.
Live,
And so he
live,
was like,
live.
guess you're living.
This was my idea, is probably what he's thinking. Um, Lucilla goes to see Maximus and explains that she's been afraid since that night because she knows that her brother totally just suffocated
Well,
her
yeah, I
father.
mean, that was obvious after it happened because she like slapped him and then she like was like,
Oh yeah,
and I'll kiss your hand because I have to.
yeah. He probably liked the slap. Um,
Ew.
sorry, just saying.
Gross.
But she's very clearly afraid that her son is going to be killed by her brother because he's heir to the throne. Because Commodus doesn't have any children, so he's heir. And she said, "Today I saw a slave become more powerful than the emperor of Rome." Commodus decides not to kill him.
Commodus.
Commodus, sorry. Commodus decides not to kill him. He doesn't want to make a martyr of him. Um, and then we have a lot of like in between scenes. We get to know a little bit about the senators, who's good, who's wrong, who's on the bad side. There's the brother sister moments that are just icky. Kind of, it's giving very much Lucrezia and Cesare Borgia, if you know
Gives
about the
us the
Borgias.
ick.
It does give the ick. Um, and then it kind of is building up to this plan, right? The senator's going to help, the Lucilla's going to help, and even Proximo, so that the guy who's kind of the head of the gladiators, who really does like him, they're all gonna help um Maximus get away and go to his warriors, his fighters, his army that's camped out somewhere else. Oh, and then Cicero, the guy, the friend, his name is Cicero. Do you remember him? And they play a trick on him though. He gets free, and then Cicero's on that horse and he hangs. Like that scene is like so crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Um, he's being fed. He gets fed to the arena. That
The
wrong, but
arena eats him.
so we're here at the ending, and basically Commodus wants to kill him, but do it in a way where he looks good, right? Commodus wants to look good and kill Maximus in the arena. And so he goes down to meet him, and he does the cheap shot. He's such a coward. He stabs him, but where the crowd won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
And then they go up to the get raised up and they fight, and he still loses. Like, he's so bad at everything, Joaquin's character.
I know.
But what a satisfying ending, like having him be displayed in front of everyone for the coward that he truly is,
Mhm.
you know? I love what he's wearing. He's like wearing all white and his face looks so pale. Some of the trailers, some of the scenes in the trailer that they're showing for Gladiator 2, it has the two men that look like Commodus wearing all white too. It's going to be great. But sadly, Maximus also dies in this scene,
Yeah.
our hero.
But it shows him kind of reuniting with his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, it's totally like a bittersweet ending. He's suffered enough. And what else is he gonna do? Like, keep fighting all his life? Like,
No,
he's ready.
his family's gone. I mean, he doesn't want to just replace them, you know.
Mhm. He's
It's
ready to move
probably,
on.
yeah, he's wants to be with his family.
So it's a satisfying ending to say the least, because he gets to move on and rejoin his family. I do love how Juba, I think his name is. Hold on before I mess it up. So
Juba.
then, yeah. So then Jaimon Hansu's character, Juba, he goes in there and he has the little figurines, because you know how he had those little figurines all the time of his wife and son? And he just scraps away a little bit of the sand and just buries them. But he doesn't go very deep into the sand. And this is the Colosseum. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was so funny. It's like, shouldn't you have buried it at least 3 feet deep? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was funny picking it apart. But yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. I mean, we definitely skipped through some of the parts in the middle, but we just wanted to give everyone a little recap of what happened. Closing remarks on Gladiator, Kayla?
This movie definitely is up there in my list. You know, I kind of put it in the same category as like The Patriot, Hamlet, Gladiator. Like it's those action-packed thriller blockbuster movies that are just so good. And, you know, they just don't make them like that anymore, unfortunately. And I'm hoping this new one's good.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping so too. I'm, of course, nervous sometimes. Like when I watched the trailer, like the second time, I was like, oh, I don't think it's going to be as good. But then I'm like, no, they're going to pull it off. They have to. Like, there's a lot riding on this movie.
I know.
And they have a good cast lined up. I mean, Pedro Pascal, amazing. Joseph Quinn, who you may remember from Stranger Things, and Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, and we get Connie Nielsen back for some, a bit of she's the only female in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. But I do like what you said, Kayla, about they don't make them like they used to. So a little bit about the movies from 2000. Other than Gladiator, we had Castaway. That's one of your favorites, right?
I like it, yeah.
Remember the Titans, Gone in 60 Seconds, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is amazing. American Psycho, Meet the okay, and then on the funnier side, we have Meet the Parents, Almost Famous, love that movie. Um, Final Destination, scary movie. So I think 1999 was probably a better year for cinema, but 2000 was still pretty cool. And then we've already talked in depth about 2004 as a great year for movies like Troy. Okay, so I watched Troy and Gladiator with my husband, And afterwards, he'd never seen Gladiator. Can you believe it? Yeah. And he goes, that was a lot better than Troy. But I was like, it's different, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're doing a sequel to this movie because it kind of falls in that whole Marvel category of just like, they've because apparently now they only make movies that they know they can make a lot of money with, like millions upon millions of dollars. So they put a big budget into it. So like that's why Marvel has taken over Hollywood as of late. Unfortunately. So like, those little rom-coms we love from the 90s, like they're barely getting made anymore, if at all. And it
Mm.
just sucks because I feel like there were so many great movies in that time period, and now we just have all these big blockbuster mega movies, that and they're just I'm sometimes they're just overdone, and it's just like you lose the heart. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that that doesn't happen with the sequel.
I hope so too. I have to admit, I don't go see the Marvel movies. I just don't. I I I think I saw Iron Man 2 in theaters, which is
I
a
mean,
long
the
time.
first Iron Man was really good, but like I don't know, it's just taken over everything, and it's like, there's other stories out there.
I know.
It's just
It's
kind of all for
true.
the money now, and it's kind of sad. But I
It's
mean,
more of like an industry.
I guess it always was for the money, but I guess they just are zoning in on this one thing because it's a big cash cow.
It is. It's a shame when you and I, we try to support the other movies. Like we always go see Sofia Coppola movies and all the other indie ones.
Yeah, it's just
But
kind of like everything's an extreme now. So there's only big mega movies, and then you got your tiny little indie movies, and there's kind of nothing in between.
yeah. Well, TV series have become
Well, yeah, like
so good now.
Netflix. Yeah, so that's kind of where that's going. But
Yeah. Like I just watched Shogun and it was such a phenomenal series. And it could have probably been like a huge movie now that I think about it, but they made it a 8 part or 10 part or 12, I can't even remember, 10 part series. So that is interesting to think about.
yeah,
Well, we will always be nostalgic for movies like this, Kayla, Gladiator, Troy, um, The Mummy, Star Wars, the prequels. So
yeah,
we have to, keep it alive with our podcast, Kayla.
we will. And if anybody has any movie recommendations for us that give you the 90s, early 2000s feel, but they're made recently, let us know. We'd love to see them.
That's a good point. All right. Thank you all for taking this journey with us back into the times of the Gladiator. We hope you enjoyed our little recap and are getting excited for Gladiator 2. And we're going to cover that one back later in November, towards the end of our season 3. It might even be our season 3 finale. We're going to bring our special guest host, Stephanie, with us on that journey. And yeah, thank you all for your support. We'll catch you next time. Bye.